Most people think respect is something you earn by being loud, by proving yourself, or by trying to impress others. But the truth is, the most respected people don't do any of that. They don't chase attention, they don't force their presence, and they definitely don't try to win everyone over. Yet somehow, they walk into a room, and people naturally take them seriously. So what's going on here? In this video, we're going to break down the psychology of people who are always respected, and more importantly, how you can start applying these behaviors in your own life. One of the most noticeable traits of respected people is this: they don't react right away. When something happens, whether it's criticism, pressure, or even disrespect, they pause. Not because they don't have emotions, but because they don't let emotions control their behavior. Most people react instantly. They get defensive. They try to explain themselves. They try to prove a point. But respected people understand something deeper. Reaction is a form of surrender. When you react instantly, you're giving control of your state to something external. Instead, they observe first, they process, and then they respond. That small delay, that moment of silence, creates power. Silence makes most people uncomfortable, so they fill it with unnecessary words. They talk too much. They explain too much. They try to avoid awkwardness. But respected people are different. They understand that silence is not empty, it's presence. When they speak, they don't rush to fill every gap. They let conversations breathe. And because of that, when they finally say something, people listen. There's a psychological effect here. The less you speak, the more weight your words carry. This is a big one. Most people unconsciously seek approval. They want others to agree with them. They want to be liked. They want to be accepted. And there's nothing wrong with that until it starts controlling your behavior. Respected people don't depend on validation. They don't adjust their opinions just to fit in. They don't say things just to please others. Instead, they operate from internal certainty. They trust their own judgment, and ironically, this makes people respect them more, because confidence without approval seeking feels rare. Here's something most people struggle with: saying no. When they don't want to do something, they over-explain. They justify. They feel guilty. But respected people don't do that. They set boundaries clearly. No, I can't do that. That doesn't work for me. I'm not available. Simple, direct, calm. No long explanations, no emotional pressure, because they understand. The more you explain your boundaries, the more negotiable they seem. Respect isn't just about what you say, it's about how you show up. Respected people are aware of their body language. They don't fidget constantly. They don't avoid eye contact. They don't shrink themselves. Instead, they move slowly. They maintain eye contact. They take up space naturally, not in an aggressive way, but in a grounded way. This sends a subconscious signal. I am comfortable with myself, and people pick up on that instantly. Trying too hard to impress others usually has the opposite effect. People can feel it. It creates tension. It feels forced. It feels inauthentic. Respected people don't perform. They don't exaggerate their achievements. They don't constantly talk about themselves. Instead, they let their actions speak. And because they're not seeking attention, attention naturally comes to them. Most people listen just enough to reply. They're waiting for their turn to speak. They're thinking about what to say next. But respected people listen differently. They listen to understand. They pay attention to tone, to body language, to what's not being said. And because of that, their responses are more thoughtful. This creates a powerful dynamic. When someone feels heard, they automatically respect the person listening. Respected people don't try to be everywhere. They don't engage in every argument. They don't respond to every message instantly. They don't waste time on unnecessary drama. They choose where to invest their energy because they understand your attention is valuable, and when you treat it that way, others will too. Pressure reveals character. When things go wrong, most people panic. They become reactive. They lose control. But respected people stay calm, not because they don't feel pressure, but because they've trained themselves to handle it. Calmness in chaos is one of the strongest signals of authority. It tells others, this person can handle difficult situations, and that naturally builds respect. This is subtle but powerful. Most people argue to win. They want to prove they're right. They want the last word. But respected people don't care about winning small arguments. They care about clarity. They care about truth. They care about long-term outcomes. So sometimes they let things go. And that restraint creates more respect than any argument ever could. Respect isn't something you demand. It's something you build through small behaviors repeated consistently over time. It's in the way you respond, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, and most importantly, the things you choose not to do. So instead of asking, how do I make people respect me? Start asking, what habits would a respected person have? And then become that person. If you found this video valuable, make sure to subscribe for more content on psychology, self-improvement, and personal growth. Because understanding people starts with understanding yourself.